Hi guys, so for this demonstration, I'll be showing you how to add dimension to your photographs through post-processing in Adobe Photoshop. Now for this example, we'll mainly be focusing on enhancing the depth of field of our image, alright? So let's begin. The first thing we want to do is to create two isolated layers of our background and our subject. So you'll want to click on the Object Selection tool to the left of your workspace, and this basically serves as an automatic selection tool that does most of the tedious work for you. Now, it's not uncommon for the selection to be imperfect, so you'll have to make some manual adjustments as well. In this case, I'll be using the Quick Selection tool to include the areas that the Object Selection tool might have missed. Now, when it comes to the finer details of our subject, such as her hair strands, you may click on the Select tab, find the Select and Mask option, and hold Shift before clicking it. This will lead you to the Refined Edge feature, which basically gives you the option to paint over the more finer details of your subject and include them in the selection. Once you're satisfied with the selection, you may now right-click it and select Layer via Copy. Alright, so now that we have an isolated layer of just our subject, let's now do the same for our background. First, you'll want to duplicate your original or raw image. Next, select your isolated subject layer, and while holding down the Control or Command key, click on the layer's thumbnail. This action will automatically select all the elements that are present within that layer. You'll then expand this selection by going to the Select tab, click on the Modify drop-down menu, and select Expand. It's up to you to input the value, but I would recommend a value ranging from only 10 to 30 pixels. Once you've done that, you will then reselect your background layer, right-click on the selection, and click on the Fill option. Make sure that the Contents tab says Content Aware and then press OK. Once the bar is filled up, you should have successfully removed your subject from the background. Now that we have our isolated layers, we can now make any adjustments or edits to these two elements independently. Since we're focusing mainly on enhancing the depth of field of our image, we'll want to apply a digital blur to our background layer. To do this, you'll want to go over the Filter tab, click on the Blur Gallery drop-down menu, and select Tilt Shift. This gives you the option to alter the focal plane of your background, particularly in terms of the intensity and expansion of the blur. Now, I personally recommend setting the blur amount at a high setting at first, just so that you have a clearer indication of where the blur will actually be applied to. Now, with that, you'll have the freedom to position and alter this effect to your liking. Once you're satisfied with the result, simply press the OK button at the top. You may then merge your two layers and make any further adjustments to your image to enhance its visual appeal, whether that be through adding lens flares to highlight certain lighting setups, or even playing around with the adjustment settings in the Camera Raw filter feature. Keep in mind that the overall result of your image will be dependent on how creatively you intend to manipulate these settings, so feel free to deviate from any of the steps that I showed you guys and figure out any processes that might work for you. So that about concludes this demonstration, so thank you for following along and I hope you learned something new. Bye guys!